Why Pedro Morales was a champion for just one single day is still one of those strange stories in wrestling that fans continue to look back on. Over the years, plenty of rumors have come out trying to explain why it happened, but no clear answer has ever been settled on. Some believe it was a way to push him back into the spotlight, while others think there were deeper reasons behind it. What we do know for sure is that it's still a topic that sparks debate among fans even today. So let's take a closer look at this mystery and try to understand what really went down. It all goes back to the year 1980, a time when Pedro Morales was already a respected name in wrestling and a fan favorite wherever he went. During that year, Morales teamed up with none other than Bob Backlund, who at the time was the reigning WWF champion. Together, they formed a powerhouse duo and went after one of the toughest teams in the company, the Wild Samoans. The Samoans were known for their brutal style and dominance, so when Morales and Backlund actually managed to beat them for the WWF Tag Team Championship, it felt like a huge moment. Fans were excited, and for that short time, it looked like Pedro Morales was once again climbing to the top of the mountain. But then, just as quickly as it happened, it was gone. The very next day, the reign was erased. The belts were taken away, and the victory was declared void. It was as if the match had never even happened. For fans, it was shocking and confusing. How could a title win like that, especially involving two stars like Morales and Backlund, disappear overnight? Over the years, plenty of theories have popped up. One of the most common beliefs is that the company didn't want Morales to overshadow the wrestlers who were being chosen and protected as the corporate stars of the future. Bob Backlund was already the top man as champion, and adding tag team gold alongside it might have drawn attention away from others the company wanted to keep in the spotlight. In other words, the decision wasn't about the match itself. It was about control, image, and making sure the right people stayed in the top positions. And it still leaves a heavy feeling for his fans, because Pedro really did deserve better. His career showed how hard he worked to build his way up, step by step, earning every bit of respect along the way. So when something like this was taken away from him so suddenly, it wasn't just disappointing, it felt unfair. It left not only Morales, but also the fans who supported him, with a sense of sadness and frustration. Morales was born in 1942 on the small Puerto Rican island of Culebra. He came from a massive family, later joking that most of the island was somehow related to him. Life was simple but tough, and his early years gave him the grit that later defined his career. As a teenager, he moved to Brooklyn, New York, to finish high school. That move changed everything. It was there that a friend introduced him to wrestling, and it didn't take long for him to realize he had found his path. Morales began competing in amateur matches at just 13 years old, and by the time he reached adulthood, he was ready to step into the professional ring. His journey would stretch nearly 3 decades, carrying him across the United States and far beyond. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Morales paid his dues the hard way. He worked smaller promotions on the East Coast, wrestling in places like Virginia, North Carolina, and the tri-state area. These years were about learning, improving, and slowly making a name for himself. He teamed with different partners, faced opponents with all sorts of styles, and built his own reputation as someone dependable and tough. He might not have been a star yet, but the foundations of one were already forming. By the mid-1960s, Morales landed in California's World Wrestling Association, a promotion that gave him his first real taste of stardom. In 1965, he shocked fans by defeating the Destroyer to win the WWA World Heavyweight Championship. It was a huge step forward, proof that he could carry a company on his shoulders. Morales also thrived in the tag team division, holding gold there as well, and battling some of the top names on the West Coast, including the Assassins. These victories weren't just wins on paper. They showed that Morales could adapt to any role, whether as a solo champion or part of a team. Hawaii soon became another important stop in his career. Wrestling for Mid-Pacific Promotions, Morales captured the Hawaii Heavyweight Championship and the NWA North American Heavyweight title. He also teamed with other respected wrestlers like Dory Dixon to continue his tag team success. By this point, Morales was proving himself everywhere he went. From California to Hawaii, fans were starting to see him as more than just another wrestler passing through. He was becoming a star. Everything changed in 1970 when Morales joined the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Almost immediately, his career hit a new level. In January 1971, he captured the vacant WWWF United States Championship. Just a month later, in one of the most memorable nights at Madison Square Garden, Morales defeated Ivan Koloff to win the WWWF World Heavyweight Championship. The moment was historic. Not only had Morales won the most important title in the company, but he had also become the first Latino wrestler to ever hold it. For fans in New York, especially the Puerto Rican community that packed the Garden, it was a night of pride and validation. Morales' reign as champion lasted more than 1,000 days, one of the longest in WWE history. That reign established him as a legitimate main event figure and cemented his place as one of the era's true stars. But Morales was more than just a champion. He became a cultural icon. At a time when many wrestling characters leaned on stereotypes, Morales connected with his fans through authenticity. He spoke Spanish during interviews, proudly representing his heritage, and the crowds responded with passion and loyalty. His connection with the Puerto Rican community in New York was unmatched, and he carried that love with grace. His matches during this period were unforgettable. The most famous were his battles with Bruno Sammartino, another beloved champion. Their 75-minute draw at Shea Stadium became legendary, a clash between two heroes that symbolized the respect and admiration they both commanded. Morales' style was fiery but honest. He wasn't flashy, but he was relatable, the kind of wrestler who made people believe he fought for them. When Morales eventually lost the world title in 1973, it wasn't the end of his journey. He continued wrestling across different territories, collecting championships in Florida, San Francisco, and Puerto Rico. He remained a consistent draw wherever he went, showing his versatility and proving that he didn't need the world title to stay relevant. Soon after, Morales captured the Intercontinental Championship by defeating Ken Patera. With that win, he became the first man in history to achieve what would later be called the Triple Crown, holding the World, Tag Team, and Intercontinental titles at different points in his career. His Intercontinental reigns were long and significant. Across 2 runs, he held the title for a combined 619 days, a record that stood for decades. His feuds with Don Muraco during this period were some of the most heated in WWF history, producing matches that fans still talk about today. Morales and Muraco represented 2 very different sides of the wrestling world, and their clashes always had the crowd hooked. Even as the wrestling business began changing in the 1980s, Morales remained a constant. He wasn't the flashiest or the loudest, but he was steady, respected, and loved by the fans. He continued competing into the mid-1980s before officially retiring in 1987. His time in the ring had run its course, but his role in wrestling didn't end there. Morales transitioned into working behind the scenes, serving as a producer and later as a Spanish-language commentator in the early 1990s. His voice brought comfort and excitement to countless Spanish-speaking fans, further extending the connection he had built throughout his career. In 1995, Morales received one of the highest honors in the sport when he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. It was a fitting recognition of everything he had accomplished. From his early days in Puerto Rico to his dominance in New York, from breaking barriers as the first Latino world champion to setting records as the first Triple Crown winner, Morales had left a mark that couldn't be erased. Sadly, Morales' later years were marked by a battle with Parkinson's disease, which he fought with the same quiet strength he had always shown. He passed away in February 2019 at the age of 76. His death saddened fans across the world, especially those who had grown up watching him at Madison Square Garden or cheering for him in Puerto Rico. To them, Morales wasn't just a wrestler. He was a hero, a symbol, and a source of pride. His reigns, his feuds, his milestones, and his connection to people make him one of the most important figures the sport has ever seen. His career was a long climb filled with challenges, triumphs, and unforgettable moments. And though it ended many years ago, his influence still lingers. For fans who lived through his era and for those who learn about him now, Pedro Morales will always represent what it means to build your way up and never forget who you are. That's all for today, everyone. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss future videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.